Hello, everybody. Rick, the retired Texan, sitting in a parking lot at a golf course, about to play around. That's what you do when you're retired. A lot of us. um, I turned 63 years old day before yesterday, and I remember when I was young, I used to think that old people are grouchy, and especially old men seem like. And there are some grouchy old men for sure, and hard to get along with old men. There's no doubt about that. And there's a lot of hard to get along with young men. I don't think whether or not you're grouchy is an age issue myself. But here's what I think causes that perception that young people have of older people. And a lot of you older folks are going to completely understand, and maybe some of you younger folks will hear this, and maybe you'll have a better understanding of the older crowd. But here's kind of where we get to after living on this earth about 5, 6, 7 decades. We lose our patience and tolerance for illogical, Johnny come lately crap. Stuff that's just trendy, and you can tell by how illogical and foolish it is. You can tell it's not going to be around a few years from now anyway. It don't apply to 80 or 90% of the masses anyway. So when you're young, a lot of us jump on board with stuff like that because it's cool to be trendy, and it's cool to jump on board with the new stuff and all that. But when you get older, you have no patience for that stuff. Zero. So you avoid it like the plague. I mean, you just avoid it. So you may not go places you used to go. You may shy away from people that you used to talk to because the age gap a lot of times will put older people in a situation where they have to hear all that crap, and we're just not interested. When you get to the point in your life where you've lived a whole lot longer than the amount of time you have left, then your time becomes very, very precious. And every hour seems to be more precious now than it used to be by far. So you just don't have any desire to spend an hour of your time on trendy pop culture, Johnny come lately, illogical BS. And some of it's not BS. Some of it is fine, and it makes all the sense in the world, but it only applies to probably somewhere between 5 and 20% of the population. So it's just like spending time, the masses spending time on these topics that don't apply to the vast majority of us, just for an older person, just seems like a terrible waste of our time. So consequently, young people can get the impression that we're unsociable, or we're not open-minded, or we're grouchy, or whatever. But that's not exactly the case. We're just trying to make good use of the time we have left. I've got a couple of buddies, we joke around. We're about the same age, in our 60s. And we talk about how we're, to use a football analogy, we're in the fourth quarter, and we're probably at least 5 minutes into the fourth quarter. And we're just hoping that we can go into overtime. So, I just want to help you younger folks understand what's going through the mind of a lot of us older people. Some of these things you think are important are fine. They're fine, and they probably are important to a very small percentage of us. And some of these stupid things y'all say, because they're trendy to say right now, it's annoying to us. And we're not going to say some of that stupid stuff because we've been around long enough to know that some of this vernacular that you use these days will pass. And when it passes, it makes you feel kind of dumb that you ever use those words in the first place. And so we've been through all that, so we just avoid all that minutia. All these little trendy things just kind of come and go, and we can spot them a mile away because we've been down all these roads. And we just don't want to waste our time with that stuff. So that's what's going on in the mind of a guy who just turned 63. I'm willing to bet that there's a bunch of you out there that are my age that can relate to everything I just said. But more importantly, hopefully there's some younger folks out there who might have a little bit of a different perspective on the older folks around you. It's just, it's not that we're so much that we're grouchy. We just don't jump on board with a lot of stuff too quick, especially if our antennas, our radars are telling us it's just Johnny-come-lately stuff that's going to pass. So we just don't want to waste our time on it. Our time is too precious. Hope that video is makes some sense. It's just what's on my mind today. If you think I'm talking about some stuff that interests you on this channel, hit the subscribe button. I'd really appreciate it. And share this video if you think it might do some good for somebody to hear it. Hit the like button, the notifications button, the bell, I believe it is, will tell you when I put out another video, and we'll go from there. Take care.